Hello and welcome everyone. This is Prantik from RevSportz, and I have the pleasure of having a conversation with Dav Whatmore, one of the most celebrated and famous cricket coaches. He's been all around the world. Today he's joining me from USA, where he is currently present. He's helping launch Cricket Kingdom in the US, and we'll talk a lot more about that. But as we all know, Dav's coached teams like Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Zimbabwe, even KKR, and also, domestic cricket in India. There's so much to explore with Dave about the world of cricket as cricket is evolving into a multi-format sport. And, I'm sure the demands on coaches are quite different. So first and foremost, Dave, very warm welcome.
Thank you very much, and nice to spend a few minutes with you, Prantik.
Thank you. Dave, first let's talk about Cricket Kingdom. I've known Chetan for a long time. Like I was sharing, my kid goes to Cricket Kingdom in Singapore. I would love to get your view on your experience as you've recently joined them as director of global coaching programs and operations. What does that role entail, and what are you sort of in charge of in the whole Cricket Kingdom apparatus?
No, I've joined them for a year to see how it goes, and I can tell you that I feel just really comfortable with the people who put this together and are running it. And I think that's a major feeling for anybody joining any academy. I know that their tentacles spread far and wide, but the way in which they conduct their business is absolutely above board, and that really was something that drew me very much towards joining them in this first year. Really keen to to help out whenever I can, and the agreement or we agreed to go ahead with my time. Whenever I have time, I'm definitely going to be helping out Cricket Kingdom in achieving their objectives. And along the way, I also have a lot of fun doing it, and I enjoy doing what I'm doing.
Well said. Yeah, it's definitely not easy. And you're someone who's obviously been a successful first-class cricketer, then turned coach. Now, what's your sort of belief there? Does one need to be a good player and to have had played at a very high level to be a good coach, or is that not really a prerequisite?
I think it's a hell of an advantage to have done that, because what it does is gives you an appreciation of the level of pressure that's involved in competition, particularly at the high level. So if you have that appreciation of the level of pressure, then I think as a coach, you're able to be sensitive to that, to various individuals, and to take pressure off. There's enough stress, in the game. I guess in all levels, age groups, but particularly in the high end, there's a lot of stress. So I think being able to successfully take that stress away as much as you can, and to create a very positive environment for each of these boys to go out there and perform. That's, I think, one of the main things a coach can do at the high end.
Yeah, pressure management clearly is something, and be it in sports, be it in work, I think that's something we all need to learn how to deal with. So clearly, obviously, your experience would come in good stead. You spoke about boys and girls, and that's an interesting point. The modern game, be it cricket or today, the US, the World Cup's going on as well in soccer. You're seeing the women folk play sport equally well across different sports. To coaching academies, do you sort of think that this is a great opportunity to bring gender equity in sport?
Surely, it is. It really is a bit of a sleeping giant, to be honest with you, from what I can see. ICC has definitely endorsed the fact that they're going well ahead with women's cricket, and as you mentioned, the current Women's World Cup that I've been watching here in America, following the fortunes of certain countries. You have the IPL in India with women coming in, and it's only going to grow. And the interest that's created around the world, is just increasing very quickly. So, it's incumbent upon academies and clubs to also include, where possible, the girls to come and join in with a view to improving like everybody else, like all the boys. In that little group I've got at the moment, we have one girl, and she's pretty good, and that's just an area that I can see, a big growth.
Yeah, that's definitely a hope as a parent that, hopefully sport as a mechanism just helps us come together in society to sort of create that balance. And you're right, I think good to see even pay parity come through in various, when BCCI has made that announcement, and even the Soccer World Cup, they're pushing towards that in the coming few years. Hopefully that's a sign of good things to come. Let's sort of move towards the evolution of cricket. Like we discussed, you've played first-class cricket, red ball cricket. You've coached. Obviously, you helped Sri Lanka win their ODI World Cup, and and now we're talking about T20. You've just come back from a very successful league from Canada. Your thoughts on cricket, especially from a coaching perspective. What's the message to young boys and girls? Should they focus primarily on white ball cricket, or is a foundation in a longer format important?
Well, it is changing, Prantik. No question about that. It's appealing to a wider audience, and that wider audience is demanding a lot more of the excitement in cricket. And a number of countries are only engaged in limited overs, whether it's 20 over or 30, 35, 40, 50 over cricket. And not many are playing the duration games. So it is changing. It is appealing to a different audience. Even in the test matches now with England and Australia just recently completed, the way in which 5-day cricket is now approached is also moving in leaps and bounds, as we've seen, not just in the Ashes but also in the previous 12 months with the England team. And I think that you might find that when conditions are right, more and more teams will be getting on the front foot and trying to be aggressive, like we've seen the England team and the way they play their cricket. But in lots of other countries, it's white ball. It's limited overs that everyone is interested in, and it's limited overs that a lot of the boys and girls who come to academies are also interested in. But in saying that, it's very difficult to just pick up a bat, without having received some sort of technical know-how to start to whack the ball. You've got to know it's all about decision making. You have to have the ability first to hit the ball, and there are a lot of youngsters who develop a little later physically. So you've got a huge disparity of a physical difference between kids in an age group. So the stronger ones will easily stand out because they're able to muscle the ball more. But the younger ones who have a little bit of technique sometimes get overlooked because of their inability to be forceful. But they're going to have growth spurts, one day, and they'll get bigger, and they'll get stronger. But the focus in many countries is pretty much the white ball cricket. It's appealing to a different audience.